Life doesn't always play fair. There are times when it feels like life is less of a journey and more of a battlefield filled with setbacks, heartbreaks, and moments that shatter us. And in those moments, it's so easy to question everything our worth, our purpose, even the point of getting back up. In times of pain, our first instinct is often to avoid it. We numb ourselves with distractions, dive into work, or scroll endlessly on our phones, hoping that if we ignore it long enough, it'll disappear. But the truth is, unprocessed pain doesn't just go away. It lingers, seeping into other parts of our lives, affecting how we see ourselves, our relationships, and our sense of joy. Allowing yourself to feel the hurt is a radical act of bravery. It means letting down the walls you've built to protect yourself, even if it's uncomfortable or scary. This isn't about dwelling in negativity or getting lost in sadness. It's about giving yourself the time and space to sit with those emotions, to let them rise and fall naturally without resistance. This might look like crying, journaling, meditating, or even talking to someone you trust. Feeling your pain means acknowledging that what you're going through is real and valid. So many of us were taught that certain feelings aren't okay, that we should hide our anger, sadness, or disappointment. But bottling up emotions doesn't make them go away, it only amplifies them. When you allow yourself to feel, you're giving yourself the opportunity to process, to understand, and eventually to heal. It's okay to be angry, to cry, to feel lost or even broken. It's okay to have days where getting out of bed is a victory. Don't judge yourself for your feelings. Instead, see them as guides, each one offering insights into what truly matters to you. The pain you're feeling might reveal unmet needs, show you boundaries that need reinforcing, or open your eyes to patterns that aren't serving you. Let these insights come through without judgment. Remember, allowing yourself to feel isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of resilience. Pain is a part of the human experience, and embracing it fully doesn't mean you're defeated, it means you're courageous enough to face life honestly. Only by fully experiencing our emotions can we move beyond them. So let yourself feel deeply, let yourself feel honestly, let yourself feel fully, because feeling is the path to healing, and every feeling brings you one step closer to wholeness. When life throws challenges our way, the first question we often ask is, why me? It's a natural reaction, but one that can leave us feeling like victims of our circumstances. Instead, what if we reframe that question and ask, what is this trying to teach me? This shift in perspective doesn't erase the hurt or make the challenge easier, but it can give us a sense of purpose and direction amid the chaos. Every experience we go through, especially the difficult ones, carries potential lessons. Often, these moments of pain or hardship can reveal truths about ourselves and our lives that we might not have noticed otherwise. Maybe they show us where we need to set healthier boundaries, where we've been neglecting our own needs, or where we need to let go of patterns and habits that no longer serve us. Sometimes our pain is like a teacher, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves, our relationships, and our values. Seeking to understand the lesson requires us to look at our experiences with openness and curiosity, even when it's hard. This doesn't mean we should downplay our emotions or force ourselves to find a silver lining immediately. There's a process to healing, and it's perfectly okay to be angry, sad, or even resentful for a while. But when we're ready, reflecting on what this experience has to teach us can bring clarity and even gratitude in unexpected ways. Take a moment to think about how you've grown from past challenges. Maybe a difficult breakup showed you what you truly need in a partner. Perhaps a setback at work forced you to realign with your goals and aspirations, or a time of loss reminded you of the importance of connecting deeply with loved ones. These lessons don't always make the experience itself feel worthwhile, but they can provide us with tools, insights, and a deeper resilience that will serve us in the future. Seeking to understand the lesson also empowers us. It shifts us from a mindset of helplessness to one of agency. When we choose to look for meaning, we're reclaiming our power. We're deciding that despite the pain, we're going to grow from this experience and use it to shape a better, wiser version of ourselves. This process isn't easy, and it's okay if it takes time. Understanding the lesson doesn't always happen right away. Sometimes we only gain perspective months or even years down the road, so be patient with yourself. Reflect, journal, talk it through with someone who supports you, or seek guidance through meditation or prayer, whatever helps you process. When life is at its hardest, try to remember you don't have to have all the answers right now. Trust that in time, the lessons will reveal themselves. And when they do, they'll equip you with the strength, wisdom, and clarity that will help you navigate the future, whatever it may hold. In a world that often celebrates strength, success, and positivity, it can feel unnatural, almost unacceptable to admit when we're not okay. We're surrounded by messages that tell us to stay strong, think positive, and keep going, even when we're hurting or struggling. But the truth is, it's perfectly okay not to be okay. It's okay to feel sad, lost, or overwhelmed. It's okay to have days, weeks, or even seasons where life feels heavy. This doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're human. When we suppress or deny our emotions, we're only prolonging our pain. Pretending everything is fine doesn't make it so. It simply buries our feelings deeper, where they can build up and affect our mental, physical, and emotional health. The courage to admit, even to ourselves, that we're struggling can be the first step towards healing. It's an invitation to address our feelings instead of pushing them aside. Accepting that it's okay not to be okay is about giving yourself permission to feel whatever you need to feel. Life doesn't demand that we be strong all the time. That's a standard we impose on ourselves, often out of fear of judgment or the pressure to maintain a certain image. But real strength doesn't come from pretending to be fine. It comes from the willingness to be honest with ourselves and to embrace our struggles as part of our journey. When we allow ourselves to be not okay, we give ourselves the space to process. We make room for our emotions to breathe, to be seen, and ultimately to heal. This can look different for everyone. For some, it may mean letting yourself cry and not holding back. For others, it might mean giving yourself a break from social obligations, allowing yourself a lazy day, or even taking time away from work or responsibilities to focus on self-care. Accepting your emotions doesn't mean wallowing in them. It means honoring them and recognizing that they are valid responses to what you're experiencing. Being honest about not being okay can also deepen our connections with others. When we open up about our struggles, we create space for others to support us, and we give them permission to share their own vulnerabilities as well. Sometimes the people who appear the strongest are the ones who are carrying the heaviest burdens silently. But when we admit our own struggles, we help break down the stigma around mental and emotional challenges, showing others that they're not alone and that it's safe to share their truth. It's okay to need time to process, to heal, or simply to rest. There's no timeline or right way to deal with difficult emotions. Healing isn't linear, and there will be days when it feels like you're back to square one. But every step, even the smallest one, is progress. Be kind to yourself and trust that it's okay to feel broken or lost for a while. Accepting that it's okay not to be okay means treating yourself with compassion. Think about how you'd comfort a friend who's going through a tough time, then offer yourself that same kindness. It's easy to be hard on ourselves, to think that we should be handling things better. But our emotions don't make us weak, they make us real. They connect us to our humanity and remind us of our capacity to feel deeply, to care deeply, and to love deeply. So when life feels overwhelming, give yourself permission to pause, to hurt, and to be exactly where you are. Let go of the need to fix everything right away, and allow yourself the time and space to experience whatever you're feeling. By accepting your struggles, you're taking the first step towards healing. In this acceptance, you'll find a quiet, profound strength, the kind that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, not even to yourself. When life feels overwhelming, it's easy to feel paralyzed by the enormity of the challenges we face. Sometimes we look at everything we need to overcome, and it just seems impossible to make it through. In those times, progress doesn't come from grand gestures or overnight transformations. It comes from the small, deliberate steps we take each day. Focusing on small steps forward can be one of the most powerful ways to move through hardship and over time create lasting change. Small steps allow us to focus on what's within our immediate control. When we're dealing with emotional pain, a setback, or any kind of upheaval, our minds tend to wander into the unknowns of the future, amplifying our fears and anxieties. But we don't have to solve everything at once. By breaking down our journey into small, manageable actions, we redirect our focus from the overwhelming big picture to something that feels more achievable right here and now. Think of small steps as building blocks. Just like climbing a mountain, each step is significant, even if it seems minor on its own. Small steps compound over time. They accumulate and build momentum, creating a path forward that feels less daunting. This could mean getting out of bed in the morning when everything in you wants to hide away, or taking 5 minutes to breathe and clear your mind when the stress feels unbearable. It could mean setting aside just a few minutes each day to journal, to meditate, or to do something that nourishes your soul. Small steps are about showing up for yourself in tiny ways, even when it's hard. And the beauty of these small actions is that they're often manageable even on the toughest days. You don't need to have everything figured out or even feel completely motivated. All you need is the willingness to take the next small step, however small it may seem. This approach removes the pressure of perfection and replaces it with gentleness and grace. It gives you permission to heal and grow at your own pace, honoring your own journey without comparison or judgment. There's an important power in consistency here. Small, positive actions, even if they feel insignificant, create a ripple effect. If you focus on doing one small thing each day, those actions begin to shift your mindset. They reinforce the belief that change, however small, is possible, and this belief can be transformative. Over time, as these small steps add up, you may start to see yourself differently. You may find that the small things you've done consistently have laid a foundation for resilience, strength, and self-trust. When we're dealing with hardship, it's easy to focus on what we can't control and what we wish would change instantly. But small steps ground us in what's real and actionable. They remind us that no matter what, we can always take one tiny action to support ourselves. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you trust, maybe it's going for a short walk to clear your mind, or maybe it's as simple as drinking a glass of water to take care of your body. These small gestures are acts of self-compassion. They're reminders that even when life feels out of control, we still have the power to nurture and support ourselves in some way. Focusing on small steps forward also allows us to be present in our journey. Instead of worrying about where we should be or rushing toward an imagined finish line, we learn to be okay with where we are. We begin to appreciate the process itself and to see the beauty in gradual growth. There's a peace that comes from knowing that you don't have to reach the top of the mountain today. All you need to do is take one more step forward. And remember, progress isn't always linear. There will be days when you feel like you're moving backward or standing still. That's normal, and it doesn't negate the progress you've already made. Healing and growth are journeys filled with ups and downs, and every step forward, backward, or sideways is part of that journey. The important thing is to keep showing up, to keep taking those small steps, and to trust that each step matters, even if you can't yet see the end result. In those moments when it feels impossible to take another step, remind yourself that small steps are enough. They are more than enough. They are the foundation of resilience and the path to healing. You don't have to carry the weight of the whole journey in one day. Just take one small step and trust that each little effort is bringing you closer to where you need to be. When we're in pain, it's natural to retreat, to turn inward, and to try to deal with things alone. In those vulnerable moments, the idea of reaching out can feel intimidating or even impossible. We worry about burdening others, about appearing weak, or about opening ourselves up in ways that might feel uncomfortable. Yet connection is often one of the most powerful tools we have for healing. Human beings are wired for connection. It's in our DNA. We're built to share, to support, and to lift one another through life's ups and downs. When we allow ourselves to connect with others, whether through a heartfelt conversation, a shared silence, or even a simple act of kindness, we give ourselves permission to be seen and understood. In those moments, we're reminded that we're not alone, and sometimes that's all we need to help us face another day. Connecting with others doesn't mean we have to share every detail of our struggles. It could be as simple as opening up to a close friend, reaching out to someone we trust, or spending time with people who make us feel safe and valued. Just being in the presence of others can shift our perspective and lighten our load. And sometimes when words are hard to find, knowing that someone is there, simply being by our side is enough. Connection isn't always about talking either. It can be found in acts of empathy, in shared experiences, or in mutual support. When we connect with others who have been through similar challenges, we gain the gift of perspective. We see that others have faced similar battles and come out the other side, and we're reminded of our own strength. Or when we open ourselves up to someone who cares for us, we allow them to share in our journey, creating a bond that can carry both of us forward. And connection is a two-way street. By reaching out to others in our time of need, we often give them a chance to feel helpful, valued, and needed. We allow them to share their own struggles, to find comfort in our vulnerability, and to realize that none of us is alone in the human experience. In connecting, we create a space where both people can feel a little less isolated, a little more understood, and a lot more supported. When we're in the midst of pain, grief, or uncertainty, it's natural to want an instant solution. We long for the hurt to disappear, the confusion to settle, or the weight on our hearts to lift. But one of the hardest truths to accept is that some things can't be rushed. Healing, growth, clarity, these are processes that unfold in their own time, regardless of how much we might want to speed them along. This is where time, though often frustrating, becomes one of the most powerful healers we have. Time has a way of bringing perspective that nothing else can. In the moment, our emotions can feel so intense that they cloud everything else. It's hard to see past the pain or make sense of what's happening when we're right in the middle of it. But as time passes, emotions begin to settle. Our minds start to find a sense of order in the chaos, our hearts begin to lighten, and the intensity of the hurt slowly begins to fade. Time helps us gain a distance from our pain that allows us to see it from a new angle, a new understanding that wasn't accessible to us in the throes of it. It's not that time erases what happened or takes away all the hurt, but time can transform our relationship to the experience. The things that once felt raw, unbearable, or completely overwhelming can, with time, start to feel manageable. What was once an open wound might become a scar visible, but no longer as painful, a reminder of our strength and resilience. Time offers us the opportunity to grow around our pain, to integrate it into who we are, and to let it become part of our story rather than the defining feature. Allowing time to work its magic doesn't mean passively waiting for things to get better. It's about trusting that healing is a process and that even when we don't see it happening, time is slowly doing its work beneath the surface. Sometimes healing is imperceptible, happening in tiny, almost unnoticeable shifts. It's in those days when we wake up feeling just a bit lighter, when we notice a faint smile returning to our face, or when we find ourselves enjoying something we once thought we'd never care about again. These small moments of progress remind us that time is, in fact, gently moving us forward. Time also brings change both within us and in the world around us. Life continues to flow, and with that flow comes new experiences, new people, and new opportunities that help us rebuild. Time brings moments of laughter, connection, and joy that slowly begin to fill in the spaces left by our pain. Each day brings with it the chance to feel something new, to have a new experience, or to see life from a different perspective. One of the beautiful things about time is that it teaches us to be patient with ourselves. When we look back on our lives, we realize that there have been countless moments we thought we wouldn't survive, heartbreaks we believed we'd never recover from, and losses we couldn't imagine moving beyond. And yet, here we are. Time has carried us through before, and it will carry us through again. Trusting time is a way of surrendering to a process that is larger than ourselves, knowing that eventually things will change. Time also has a way of showing us what truly matters. As the days, weeks, and months pass, we gain clarity on what we want to hold onto and what we need to let go of. Certain things that once seemed crucial may lose their grip on us, and new priorities and values begin to take root. This transformation happens quietly, often without us even realizing it. Over time, we begin to see that certain things don't hurt as much as they once did. People who were once central to our lives may gently fade into the background, and dreams that once felt lost may be replaced by new, unexpected aspirations. Trusting time means embracing this gradual evolution. It's knowing that while we may not see immediate results, each passing moment is part of a greater process. This is not about forcing ourselves to move on or pretending that we're okay when we're not. It's about allowing ourselves to feel, to process, and to let time weave its quiet magic around our lives in ways we can't predict or control. Time also teaches us compassion for ourselves and for others. As we move through our own healing, we develop a deeper understanding of what it means to struggle, to grieve, and to rebuild. We learn to give ourselves grace for the days when we feel like we're falling apart, and we become gentler with others who are going through their own trials. Time reminds us that healing isn't a race or a straight path. It's a winding journey that looks different for everyone. In letting time do its work, we allow space for forgiveness. Forgiveness of ourselves for any mistakes we feel we've made, for any regrets we carry, for any moments we wish we could undo, and forgiveness of others, even those who have hurt us deeply. Time softens the edges of our anger and resentment, helping us see the humanity in others and the complexity in every situation. This doesn't mean we forget or excuse harm, but with time, the sharpness of our pain can begin to dull, leaving room for a different kind of peace. Time is a reminder that life is always in motion, that we are always in motion. What feels unbearable today will look different tomorrow, and different still in the weeks and months to come. Time brings seasons and cycles, moments of despair followed by moments of joy, darkness followed by light. Trusting time means honoring this natural ebb and flow, knowing that each season has its purpose and that nothing lasts forever, not even our pain. In the end, remember that healing and growth aren't about rushing to get over the hard moments, nor are they about becoming immune to life's inevitable pain. Healing is about finding resilience and wisdom in the experiences that have tested us, about discovering strength and vulnerability, and about learning to trust the process even when it's difficult to see the path forward. So take each small step, allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, and lean into connection when it's offered. Give yourself grace, embrace patience, and trust that time is quietly, steadily working in your favor.